Hello everyone, welcome to with Atma Prem. Happy 4th of July everybody. And I have with me Ujanandaji. And being that it is the 4th of July, Independence Day, let's have a little chat here about freedom and what freedom really is. I'm being told that freedom is just an idea. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Ujanandaji. Ujananda.
Hi. Welcome. Namaste. Happy Independence Day. Well, I guess historically we all know what Independence Day is, so we don't have to go into that. I asked Bill to refresh my memory, and he was appalled that I didn't know, so. Anyway, pretty boring. I wanted to illuminate some ideas about freedom. First of all, the question to the mind, for example, what is freedom? And why does the idea of freedom even arise? To me, we're already free. We've always been free. And to be in a recognition of that is the true freedom from that idea that freedom is even needed. There's always been the freedom in the background of our human experience to even judge and murder people. So that is an extreme. The energy is all the same. Imagine if we were all focused on our true nature, which is peace, happiness, joy, love. And all of this arises naturally. These aren't things that we have to go after or seek. It's natural. And whatever is the most natural is your true nature. So, freedom is just an idea. And it arises from the idea that we're not already free. So once this is recognized, where is freedom? Taking a look at this, it becomes pretty obvious. Bill says, speak up, Atma. Yeah, so where is freedom now? When it's recognized to be just an idea that we were never already free. Just because mistakes arise in our experience, which is a part of that recognition, that everything is in the recognition of who you are. And therein lies the real freedom. So the idea of freedom is now it means what it is, just an idea. I don't know how else to say it. So everything existing as it is, timelessly, not even in the now or in the present moment or anything that would denote time, but just a recognition of what is already here. Before the idea of freedom. So when we recognize what's already here, there's no need for freedom. You really have to check it out for yourself. Or freedom from the idea of freedom. Or the recognition that you're already free, you've always been free. What is not free is the idea of ourself. really. So we have to look into that and find out what ideas are not in service to making you happy and having the actual experience of freedom, which is also conflict is also included in that freedom. And in conflict, there's also the opportunity, absolutely, to recognize freedom. When we sort of just step back from the idea of ourself and see that that's recognized also, maybe a more appropriate inquiry would be, what is recognizing everything, or what am I identifying with? Once again, what is recognizing everything, and what am I identifying with? What am I tying my happiness to? So if it's to something, an idea, especially freedom, one will never be free. One will be bound to that idea. So maybe freedom is the freedom from all concepts, or freedom from the known, as Krishnamurti so elegantly put it. And anything in our experience is the known. So we know it's not an experience that we're after. How can what is already here be an experience? So all these things can be looked into with an honest approach, which is basically telling the truth to oneself. About what it is that perhaps makes it seem like we need to have an Independence Day that is celebrated in that way, in the traditional way, without recognizing the underlying, what is underneath that event. So, once that's recognized, once again, where is freedom? So freedom would be like silence in this moment. The freedom to let what's been said resonate, for example, for those few moments. And to recognize in that silence the same kind of energy that is freedom. Can't be named. You can't, it's not bound by stories. It doesn't have a self-image. It's not supporting anything. It is self-evidently always present. It is definitely the background, or the nothing on which everything else is resting. The fireworks, for example, all around us. Coming to you from ghetto Long Beach, California. Very fun.
Tell that to the dog. You know, a lot of people look at freedom, especially on today of all days, is us signing a Declaration of Independence, or for us being free for over 200 years of the tyranny of the British government, to tea parties and crossing Valley Forge, and I mean even down to being honest about chopping down cherry tree. But cherry tree, not cherry tea. Anyway, so it is a valued thing for Americans alike. But today is more than just setting off fireworks, having barbecues, drinking beer, running around with your friends and running amok. And
well, you know, we're celebrating the freedom to do that. So even that can be recognized as, oh wow, you know, what is underneath it all is where I'm going. It's okay. The events are okay. Everything is okay to celebrate as it is, even if it's a little diluted, because that's where the awareness is at. But if we all can recognize what's underneath, which is the freedom to party, for example. And is that really freedom? You know, which is the next thing for someone that's suffering, perhaps because of it, to ask themselves. But the freedom to suffer is also there and must be recognized. Otherwise, there's no possibility. Where is the opening then? You know, that opening and that suffering that's always present to change one's mind, for example, to change one's perception, or to not accept what the mind is telling it, or to not accept the stories that it's been telling itself about itself. That may be stories that are conditioning, social conditioning, actually. So all of this can be recognized and in one swoop. We stop telling ourselves these stories, which are basically leading to, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I need freedom, or the idea of freedom. Maybe it's an escape. So, dropping all concepts about oneself is not something that one has to do, but it's really worth trying, just for a minute, to just sit with no idea about yourself. Just use yourself to see the power of silence, for example. Not be silent, but just listen, and don't miss the opening if you're suffering, for example. Let suffering happen and just watch it. And that's the power that we have as awareness. Not I am awareness, but as awareness. And there's nobody that doesn't know what that is. And who's going to deny that that's before anything else? Like, I need to be interested in that actual life, or to have any kind of reality. So not coming to freedom or Independence Day, just partying, for example, that can be there, but seeing what's underneath that and really being free. And that requires a sort of a stop and drop approach where you're not identified with anything. at all. You're not even identified with sitting quietly. You're not even there. And it's not something that you wait for it to happen. It just happens, I guess. I know that what I'm saying is secondhand to my experience, so actually you have to find out for yourself. And one of the hardest things to do is to take the freedom space, to be nothing, and to just kind of, not as something to do, but as something to experience and to know for yourself that nothing else is needed, really. That the happiness really is there within yourself. And everything else is serving that happiness. Willingly, wants to. This is the attitude. And in this, there's nothing really positive or negative or dualistic, in that even anger can be included, frustration can be included and seen for what it is, and in the next moment dropped. It's not held onto. It's not like you have to let go. It just drops because you're seeing it for what it is. And you're in a sort of practice of seeing it for what it is. It's just an emotion arising from neurons, impulses in the brain, and social conditioning, and basically it's not real, it passes, and the opportunity to allow that to happen is there in every second, every moment. And we all know this. And waste a lot of time avoiding this. Avoiding the fact that we don't need freedom to be free in this discussion. Now, as long as we're identified with the idea of ourself, our self-image, what we have to project in order to coexist or to cohabitate with our world, another projection, then we're going to be subject to all of the consequences of that perception, of course. Karma and all of that crap. I would say, of course. I don't know what others say, but and that's how powerful the illusion of freedom is. Because there's still a dome around that word free. And something to work for, and a kingdom, and a place, and something outside. Something we're tying our happiness to. This idea. So any idea of happiness, any idea of freedom, of love, peace, conflict even, grace, God, are all concepts. That any meaning you put onto them is going to be wrong, actually. Life will go on to show that. Because of tying an idea, say, to the word love, then it becomes a love that only knows how to own something. So that's not real love. Of course, we know that. We feel that. We feel that from our heart, which is a space that can't be given. Once again, like silence and true freedom, it can't be given in name, a location, an idea. Let's say that. It can't be given an idea. Because in that idea is our limited scope. And we know that that's full of the collective unconscious belief system. So I don't think I really have anything else to say. That wouldn't just be kind of redundant.
Beautiful.
Thank you for letting me share. It's a wonderful opportunity to have anyone's attention when it comes to recognizing true nature and sharing that in your presence alone.
Very nice. So as you hear all these bangs and booms and whistles and whatnots going off, as a comical sense, I'd like to say, fireworks are illegal within the city limits of Long Beach, California. As you can see, nobody in the neighborhood really cares. But, you know, a lot of what was said this evening, I can relate to, being that I've actually been holed up due to an injury to my knee. Wasn't able to do the things that I had planned in my head. You notice I used the word planned, because we make plans to do things. We don't stay present. We don't stay in the moment. We don't stay in the now, so to speak. So I was like, I'm going to go watch fireworks down at the beach with my friends. Ujananda and I are going to go with our friends to the lighthouse to see fireworks. Well, my knee stopped that. Instead, it was a relaxing day. I felt a little bummed. I tried not to let it show, but in what was said tonight really helped me, as well as I'm sure there's more than one person out there who wasn't able to journey out tonight, who wasn't able to do what they may have liked to do. But in actuality, you're right where you are supposed to be. You're right where you need to be, in pure essence of true being. And that's what this program is all about. That's what the videos are all about. That's what Ujananda is all about. Not just freedom and what true freedom is, but basically what we're looking at as a whole, as beings. So, where I'm going with this, I really don't know, but I do want to tell everybody I do appreciate your time. I appreciate the listeners that are listening live, if any.
If I could just make a clarification on what you're saying. It's more than that. It's really just sharing from the heart and being honest about that. Sharing from the heart and also exposing what doesn't belong there, so to speak.
Which actually leaves one raw and naked.
Exposing the concept, the idea that we have of ourselves, and we all have an idea of ourselves, and there actually isn't anything wrong with ideas, and all of that. But we have to see them as passing phenomena. We are not who we were when we were teenagers, for example. But what has always remained constant is what is to be recognized here. Here and now, always. So that here and now drops once again, and we're not living according to a concept of here and now. We are actually very present, and just by that presence alone, we're benefiting the world, and we don't even realize it. So that's what I mean. By one's presence alone, you don't have to be speaking to people all the time, or in charity work or anything. But it's like Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, the best help that we can render the world is to realize one's true self. So self-realization. So in that, the freedom to be is really potent, because there's no idea choking that freedom. It just is like everything else, and it's full of courage and willingness to actually, for example, say if one is depressed, to go ahead and be depressed, and to see what that's like, and to see what it's trying to say, and to go ahead and sit with depression, for example, and wait for that opening, which is every moment. So that's it, sharing from the heart, in truth and honesty, and exposing what is not, which is basically what's coming and going, what's coming and going, what's coming and going. All of our experience and states of being are coming and going, even the most blissful ones. But what is not coming and going is that which recognizes both. And in that, everything can exist and be as it is. So enjoy the hell out of your night. Namaste.
Namaste. As he said, enjoy the hell out of your night. Don't drink too much.
Be safe.
Don't get behind the wheel of your car. Be good little boys and girls, and just enjoy your independence, your Independence Day, your freedom.
Enjoy what is already here.
Enjoy what you already are.
And that could sound real corny after a while, so it really is just about being and willingness to rest in your true state.
Yes, indeed. So, that being said, I would like to once again wish everybody a very, very happy 4th of July, as it's now coming to a close. It's 9:05 here in now dark, sunny Southern California. So we're going to wind this down here and say thank you. Thank you for listening. We will be back again, I am sure. Once again, I thank Ujanandaji for joining me, for speaking with us all today, and sharing some beautiful words and some beautiful knowledge of purely nothing at all, if that makes any sense. So I thank you once again, and as I always say, I welcome you to your now, and namaste, and we'll be coming at you again very, very soon. You guys have a beautiful night. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye now.